of Newstrike Brands, trading on the TSXV under the symbol HIP.
HIP. That's right.
Jay, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
So, Jay, let's start with the overview. How has today's legalization changed the universe for hip?
Well, you know, I think the one thing that we've been sticking to and we continue to talk about is we are really the one company that has been very focused on recreational cannabis. We have not taken on patients from the get-go. We've been focused on building brands, certainly with our relationship with the Tragically Hip and other musical groups. So yesterday and today and the lead up for us has been enormous, and you can imagine we're very excited. We're finally here.
Right.
Continuously getting numbers rolling in on sales already. Actually already been contacted by one of the provinces asking if we can ship more this morning.
Really?
Oh yeah, I mean it's going.
Out of weed already.
Well, I ordered this morning just for the first time because I had to, and I was on the phone with my dad and I ordered.
Yeah.
And at 8 a.m. this morning, and I was ordered 36,008 something or other at OCS. So there's no question that this is moving well.
36,000.
Yeah, it's 36,000 something or other, and so it's. Yeah, it's moving. I think really? Canada's very excited about it, and for us, it's a huge day because this is what we've been waiting for. You know, from an investor point of view, we haven't been able to put out numbers because we didn't have numbers.
Right. Right.
So we've been stockpiling for several months, and now we're actually able to sell. So really excited about that.
So this should have a really strong impact on your share price because, I mean, as a recreational, this was the day you needed to happen.
This was the day for us, yeah. And you know, that's the thing. If you look at it, you know, people say, why haven't we got a lot of coverage and research and whatnot? Part of that is really the build up to this. You know, we've been sticking to this story of let's execute really, really well on what we're doing here in Canada.
Right.
You know, the opportunity is enormous here. We're not focused right now on running off into every country in the world and trying to be everything to everyone. Our focus is we have the biggest, best market in the world right now. Let's make sure we can deliver on what we're doing, and that remains our focus right now.
Interesting. Do you think that the representations made by certain elected officials that there was going to be a privatized physical market in terms of physical stores, do you think that is, like, I'm just curious, is because your involvement in the market, are you hearing anything, is that moving forward? Because it seems like it's a little bit uncertain as to how that's going to happen.
It certainly is moving forward, and as you can imagine, because our distribution channels are dependent on these policy changes and what's happening, we're very up to speed on where we see distribution moving and how it's moving. You know, certainly Alberta, I think, is moving quickly right now. We know Ontario, the spring is really when it's going to be really ready. We don't know exactly when in the spring. But you know, as I said, I think last time, I think the one thing for everybody is today is a really exciting day. There's no question, but today is just the start.
Right.
And this process is going to take all of us some time. It's going to take government's time, you know, municipalities, police, schools. Everybody's going to learn as we go through that, and quite frankly, I think we're all having a lot of fun as we go through it too.
Yeah.
And you know, the whole world's watching. I saw the New York Times Tokyo edition yesterday said, "How high can Canada get?" And so you see, you know, this is the world, and
right.
You know, our view is let's make sure that we execute as well as we can in this market, because, you know, if you think of what it took for us to get here as a country. And this took years. I mean, we started this company 6 years ago, and so today is obviously a pretty exciting day for us. But for the whole industry, and I think for Canadians too, it's going to be a process, no question.
You bet. So, in that you're strictly focused on recreational.
Correct. Yeah.
How are you going to deal with the limitations on advertising and promotion that are obviously somewhat dependent on the success of a recreational brand?
Sure. So I mean, I think first of all, we expected that was going to be the case. When you look at, again, Health Canada rolling this out for the very first time, I think the decision, and probably makes sense, is to go, call it as far to the right conservative as you possibly can as far as advertising and promotion is concerned. But that being said, a brand is more than that. You know, when we talk about our UP brand and we look at the association that we've got with music and some of the things that we've done over the last several months to you know, have our customers associate with our brand, we'll continue to do that. We'll continue to message the way we can through the regulations that Health Canada has put forth. And quite frankly, I think we'll work with the government, I think most of us, to see over time how much we can, you know, change those regulations to allow for more brand identity. Because ultimately, if you think of any consumer good, at the end of the day, the brand really wins the day. And
Sure.
the consumer wants to know what that brand is.
Yeah.
And that's certainly our intention, is to be a very, very major brand and recognized brand in this marketplace.
Sure, and I guess especially in the context of, I mean, the LPs will be ultimately, their success will be determined by their balance sheet.
Yes.
The government's success will be determined by how able they are to eliminate the black market. And so by denying the ability to advertise and promote the alternative to the black market, how are they going to compete? I think that sort of awareness is going to penetrate the government's sort of understanding as time goes on. I mean, we've had 6 years to get to this point and understand the importance of branding. They're just getting started.
They're just getting started. and you know what, and I've said it all the way along, they're doing a great job, and they really are. You know, dealing with all of the provinces and federally, I mean, it's not easy for anybody. No. It really isn't. And that's why I think there certainly needs to be a level of patience that people have. And again, you know, I think Canadians generally take things quite well.
Yeah.
There are certainly going to be bumps in the road. We know that. We've seen it already. And I can tell you, in the last month, our staff has been working tirelessly on things like excise stamps and on, you know, all these little issues.
Right.
The exciting thing I think for us though is we're at this point now with dry bud and with you know, pre-rolled joints and a little bit of oil. When we look at the future and what products we plan on rolling out and the brands that we're able to roll out, I think for us that's really the excitement right now. Certainly the products that we've got now are, you know, I think Canadians consume a lot of dry bud, but we also know that from a margin point of view, certainly for investors, but also from a choice point of view, a lot of people are certainly looking to, you know, vape pens, shatters, a lot of these other things that I think we certainly intend on playing a very major role in those markets as well.
Great. All right, Jay, well, we're going to leave it there for now. We'll come back to you in a quarter's time or so and see how you're doing. Thanks very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.